First at 4, Oakland County is taking new steps to battle the coronavirus, and you should expect to see some changes. President Trump faces a power struggle with several governors. One Democrat puts it bluntly, saying the president is not a king. Paula.
Darned if they do and doomed if they don't. Local business owners weigh in on whether or not it is too soon to even talk about reopening the economy.
And Paula, the wind's not as dangerous as what we saw yesterday, but it does not feel like April in the least. We'll see if we can get some warmer air in here right now. First at 4.
Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News First at 4 starts now.
Good afternoon. I'm Karen Drew. First at 4, we have updates from Detroit schools. Oakland County and Mayor Duggan is talking about money troubles. First, the toughest news to report. 166 more people have died in Michigan from the coronavirus in the past 24 hours. We've now lost nearly 1,800 people. More than 27,000 have been infected. So far, 8 patients are being cared for at the TCF Center downtown, and Detroit Public Schools have just released a plan for distance learning. Parents will be notified by robocall, text, and teachers will be calling students. You can also find more information on the district's website. 2 big developments in Oakland County's response to the coronavirus today. First, an executive order requiring essential workers who come in close contact with the public to wear face coverings. The other development, Oakland County is opening its own drive-through testing center. Testing will be at the county office in Pontiac and is only open to essential workers, Pontiac residents, and those at higher risk for coronavirus.
Testing is going to be a critical component of slowing the spread of coronavirus. We know that, and we also know that many of us are frustrated that there hasn't been more robust testing, that we haven't been able to do more of it.
That testing site is set to open Thursday. Just like in Detroit, you have to call, be screened for symptoms, and get an appointment before being tested. Detroit's mayor is fighting battles right now on 2 different fronts against the virus and against the city's budget troubles. Mike Duggan is projecting a possible $300 million shortfall over the next 2 years. 2 of Detroit's key revenue streams are hurting right now: casino gaming and income taxes. The mayor has been meeting with key players trying to preserve city services, but says there will be sacrifices. The mayor will hold a news conference tonight at 7 o'clock to talk about the challenges. We're working the story right now, and we'll have a live preview on Local 4 News at 5. The battle over when to relaunch the U.S. economy and who decides is heating up. President Donald Trump ignited a firestorm when he said he will be the one to decide, not state governors. His claim went further. Listen.
When somebody's the president of the United States, the authority is total. And that's the way it's got to be.
Total. The authority is total.
It's total. It's total.
Well, reaction has been pouring in for the last 24 hours. Kimberly Gill tracking that reaction, including a statement from Governor Whitmer. Kim?
Hi, Karen. Good afternoon. Yes, governors from both parties and legal scholars have been challenging the president's claim of total authority. The debate is only causing more confusion about how we'll navigate the transition out of these lockdowns. Now, during the crisis, the president has never issued a national lockdown order, but instead has let each governor decide how to implement virus mitigation efforts. Governors have now started to band together by region, trying to decide when and how to best ease restrictions. New York's Governor Andrew Cuomo says he would refuse such an order if necessary, legally challenge it, and says it goes against the U.S. Constitution.
The federal government does not have absolute power. It says the exact opposite that the president said. It says that would be a king. We would have had King George Washington, and we didn't have King George Washington, and we don't have King Trump. We have President Trump.
Well, today, President Trump tweeted that Governor Cuomo has been begging for his help, and now he wants independence, adding, quote, "that won't happen." As for Governor Whitmer, who's seen some interesting tweets from the president herself, her office released a statement saying in part, quote, "As the governor said yesterday, governors, including herself, clearly have the power to keep people safe. No tweet is going to take that away," end quote. Karen, President Trump will hold another task force briefing later today. We'll be monitoring it here in the newsroom to see if he has anything to add. For now, we'll send it back to you.
All right, we'll see you at 5.
Sure.
While politicians debate, local business owners are on the front lines trying to save their livelihoods and hoping customers come back. We rounded up a panel of owners who are very concerned about the business of getting back into business. They tell our Paula Tutman about their fears, frustrations, and how they might affect all of us.
Whether you're making chocolates, growing flowers, or selling retail, the question today is, when can I reopen my business? Today, a group Zoom video call with local small business owners devastated by the closures forced by COVID-19. A business expert from Oakland University, a longtime business consultant, and 6 local business owners.
It's a new balance between food safety and this extra level of safety. We don't necessarily know what that is.
Alexandra Clark, owner of Bon 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 Candies in Hamtramck, is deeply concerned. Short of having adequate virus testing, antibody testing, a cure and or a vaccine, many business owners feel doomed if they don't reopen and potentially doomed if they do.
I think it's best to just wait. Even though I'd love to be able to open up, but I think that it would be more damaging, of course, to come back too soon.
Julie Cotton owns Salon Enigma in Farmington Hills. She's willing to put safety precautions in place for her nail and hair clients, but will her customers follow them?
Women get their hair done no matter what. And are they going to lie to us? I don't know. Are they not going to tell the truth and still come because they need their roots done?
Janelle Townsend, business and marketing professor from Oakland University, has a unique historical perspective.
The closest thing was the 1918 Spanish flu, and the first wave was kind of what we're going through right now, but that the second wave was actually much steeper. And I think that's what everyone's trying to head off, is that we have that second wave that is even worse than this wave.
Orlando Robinson of D&D Innovations concurs.
But the reality is we are not ready to open our country back up.
Barbara Whitaker, business consultant for T3 Innovation Strategist, says we need guidance from our government that could take months to develop.
There's going to have to be specific guidelines that apply to various industries and various businesses that have to be developed and have to be put in place in order to open safely. The food industry is one way that you have to look at it. We've talked to a nursery, and he's got to look at the retail side of things and how that's going to work. But then there's manufacturing. And manufacturing standards are going to be somewhat different.
Business owners say without that guidance, they will figure it out. They have to.
I think moving forward, we do need to move cautiously. And quite frankly, it's just going to be a new normal for us.
Whether that means gloves and masks, and I mean, we're having sneeze guards designed for all of our stores.
Basically, we're going to try to bring the garden to them if they're not feeling comfortable coming to our stores.
You know, with the exception of Bon Bon Bon, which is doing online sales, those other businesses are shut down. This is devastating. So, of course, if they have the opportunity to reopen, they're going to do it. But they do believe it has to be a slow roll. They absolutely need that governance from the government. And they also need customers to understand that even the commerce exchange process is just going to be different. But they said that they learned a lot from that joint conversation, and it gave them a lot to think about, Karen.
Much to think about. All right. Thank you, Paula. Many of you continue to send in questions about the coronavirus for our Dr. Frank McGeorge, and he is back today to answer a question that many viewers are wondering about concerning the issue of fever.
Many people have asked if you need to take a fever reducer if you're diagnosed with COVID-19 or suspect you might have it. In otherwise healthy adults, the answer is no. Generally, the only reason to take a fever reducer is to reduce your level of discomfort. Not all fevers need to be reduced. A fever is a sign that your body is fighting the infection. It can actually help enhance your immune system by enhancing the function of some cells, and the higher body temperature can make it more difficult for the virus to survive in your body. But there is a point where treating the fever is probably a good idea, generally around 101 or 102 degrees. At that point, you're likely feeling miserable and you have a higher risk of dehydration. At that point, taking a fever reducer makes good sense. Tylenol or acetaminophen are generally recommended at this point because of some unverified concern about a potentially higher risk of complications in patients that are taking ibuprofen. If you have other medical problems that would make a fever more serious for you, then the advice would be different and you should check with your doctor. Also, in children, we have a lower bar for treating fevers because of the risk for febrile seizures. That's why it's always a good idea to check with your pediatrician for advice specific to your child's age and health. Back to you.
Always appreciate the expertise. Thanks, Doc. And remember, you can find more questions and answers from Dr. McGeorge online at clickondetroit.com. Former President Barack Obama is done sitting on the sidelines. He just endorsed his former VP, Joe Biden.
It's that the spirit of looking out for one another can't be restricted to our homes or our workplaces or our neighborhoods or our houses of worship. It also has to be reflected in our national government. And that's why I'm so proud to endorse Joe Biden for President of the United States.
How big is this endorsement? Well, Twitter says the video racked up 1 million views in just 39 minutes. All right, let's turn to our first forecast. Still doesn't feel like spring out there, does it? But today, probably an improvement over yesterday. So let's check in with Ben Bailey. He's nice and warm in his home office this afternoon. Hey there, Ben. Not sure if you can hear us. Ben?
All right, so play it through and let's see what happens with us.
All right, I think Ben's having some audio difficulties and he can't hear us. Or can you hear us, Ben?
I'm sorry, Karen, I am here.
Okay, I apologize too. You're working on the very latest technological things and the radar and getting that all straight from your home. So let's just talk about the weather right now. It is a little better than yesterday.
Yeah, it is. The wind chills obviously is the first thing you're going to notice. And the one thing that has caught our attention is what's going on out to the west of us. And we'll show you the wind gusts first. Those gusts right now at about 29 miles an hour, maybe up into the low 30s there once you get into the north zone. But it's the wind chills, how it makes it feel out there. So this is not dangerous wind. It's just nuisance wind. Those air temperatures are in the 40s, but the wind chills 30s and even 20s in some cases out in Howell. So for the rest of tonight, temperatures are going to slide. We're tracking some snow showers on the west side of the state, and that's what had my head in the computer there for a minute. We're going to get some more information on that, and we will see you again in just a few minutes.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Ben. Still ahead, Ticketmaster frustration. Why the biggest name in concerts and sporting events is facing a social media backlash. We're going to talk about that in Trending Stories. Up first, we've talked about the big decisions at home. We'll see how one European country is reopening businesses, but life is not what it used to be. First, we have an important programming note. Michigan Senators Debbie Stabenow and Gary Peters will be at a live town hall on Thursday night. Once again, Local 4 is teaming up with the other stations to bring you this event on every local channel. Send your questions to clickondetroit.com, then watch live Thursday at 7 o'clock. We'll be right back.